wanted to kind of recap what happened today. So I went to, well, a couple of things. So this, I don't know how this footage is probably gonna cut up, but so let me restart. How do you cut this stuff, right? All right. So, all right, my mom has stage 4 cancer, and it sucks. It like really fucking sucks. Okay. There's a lot of things that come involved when your parent has cancer. So I would just say this to you: spend as much time as you can with your family while they're there, right? I love my mom so much that like I didn't want her to like pass in her apartment complex or any of that, or have to go to some, like, get checked into some place. I'm not gonna say, you know, much more about that. I just didn't want that to happen. So I moved my mom in with me. I'm actually on FMLA right now for my work because I'm having to take care of her 24/7, which I'm happy and obliged to do. Could be right. Push me out, deal with the pain. I've been probably a pain in the ass kid anyway, my whole life. But anyway, I'm older now. Things are different, and my mom's at an age where she's got cancer and she needs me. So I've moved her in with me. I got her room ready, painted it, let her choose the color she wanted, and put carpet in it, got it all ready for her, moved all her furniture in. My sister and I went in and bought her a nice bed that's beauty rest with, almost, it's not a hospital bed, but it's, it lifts in the front and the back and all that. So she's comfortable. And anyway, so since she's been here, I had to, I don't know, it's crazy, but I think in the time of moving her over here, it must have been good timing, because since she's been here, the first week was great. She would make it to the fridge to get a glass of wine. She would, she'd come out here where I'm at right now. We got a pool behind me, and she'd watch me and Lauren swim. She just enjoyed everything, the birds, everything. And just like the last 2 weeks, she's gotten slowly, like, actually not slowly, like in a very rapid fashion, she is like not able to walk anymore. If she does have a good day, she can walk a little bit, but like, basically I'm saying she's got no strength, and she can't get up and walk on her own. So I have to basically get her up and help her to the restroom, which now has become like a potty, what do you call it, a bedside potty, and help her with all that stuff. And but anyway, the point is like, I'm glad to do all that for my mom. I love my mom, and I'm so happy that I can do any of this for her, but also, like, there's other things that come along that I would say that, like someone with cancer or whatever, you better be ready, because there's a lot that you need to do no matter what. Like, I had to take off on FMLA. This has been going on for months now, but I had to like do intermittent FMLA, where I would take off from work when my mom needed me. If she needed to go to an appointment, if she needed me to go shopping for her to get her some food or something, because she was almost out when she was living on her own. If she just anything she needed, I was going to be there. So I took intermittent FMLA, and then I took continuous FMLA for, I don't know, I want to say like 3 weeks or more, to get this room done and help and move my mom here, and just the process of all that. Then I wanted to get back to work, because everything seemed great. She was doing good, like I said a little bit ago, and she was making it to the fridge on her own, making it to the restroom on her own. Everything was great, and so I went back to work. And then that lasted about a week, maybe 2 weeks, whatever. And then at that point, the nurse had came one day and told me that, man, like, she agreed with me that, like, she's really kind of gone a lot. I don't want to use the words downhill, but I mean, let's just be real. I mean, she's kind of gone downhill a lot in the last like week or so. So she's not able to walk and do all these things anymore. So, and then her medications, she wasn't taking right. It's hard to say. I ended up having to take FMLA continuous again, to where instead of intermittent, continuous to, I think I put it out 2 or 3 weeks or something now, because I have to be with her every day. And at one point I wasn't even sure if she'd be here tomorrow. Days, a week ago I wasn't sure if she'd be here the next day, and so on and so forth. And at this point, I was lucky to be able to get, a long time ago, to be on her bank account, so that as far as paying any bills or taking care of all those things and getting things shut down that she doesn't need, and so on and so forth, right? She doesn't have a lot of assets by any means, but like she does have a bank account, and she does like have Social Security, and she does have a vehicle and some things that I've helped her get, and my sister. And anyway, I guess being that I'm on her bank account, that's great, because I can control any of that stuff that needs to be controlled and whatever. But like, what happens if something happens to her and I haven't, and we need to sell this car? She owes some money on the car. I won't disclose how much or anything, but basically there was a car loan for the bank that I'm talking about, that I actually bank at too. And being that I'm on that account doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to sell that stuff. So with that being said, that doesn't mean that I can sell, it doesn't mean I'm part of her car loan or her credit card loan or any of that. I guess I could have been put on that stuff, but I wasn't. I was only put on like the bank account. So now with all this stuff happening, I'm like, wow, if she doesn't remember me tomorrow, if the cancer spreads to her brain, she might not know who I am, and she's already, I don't want to talk about like things that seem kind of silly or whatever, but I mean, like, I guess while I was gone today trying to get something done, I was told that like she asked for a hamburger, and she's like, okay, you want like mayonnaise and ketchup, or what do you want on your hamburger? And she wanted like peanut butter on it. And it's like, man, that's where we're going, like, with this. It's like, it hurts to know that your parent is starting to do stuff like that, it does. It hurts a lot. But you still got to get up every day and deal with what you got to deal with, because I need to be there for her, right? So I still got to be there. I've got a camera on her right now, watching her. I've got a Ring doorbell in there, because she's gotten to the point where she can't call me on her phone. She's got her cell phone and she just looks through it. And I'll say, Mom, call me. Like, show me that you can call me. And she's look at it for a little while and she can't figure out how to call me. And I'm not, this isn't a sad video to try to get sympathy from anyone whatsoever. This is more of a knowledge-based thing, for wake-up call for everybody. Like, I never thought about like my mom or dad passing away or getting cancer or any of that. So now that it's actually happening to me, I realize, man, I need to understand and be aware of all this stuff. So with that being said, I got to snap out of it and be there for my mom every day, no matter what's going on. I'll probably recap on all this stuff later when she's gone. But anyway, where I'm going with all this is and I don't know if I'll cut this into multiple videos or not, or if I'll just leave it on here because I've got a new YouTube channel. But this started out with being about going to Kelly Bluebook and doing a Kelly Bluebook whatever you want to call it, like a assessment of like what her car is worth. So she's got a car, it's got a loan through Truist Bank that she wouldn't want to be outstanding, so it needs to get paid off, right? So took it to the dealership, or I did the Kelly Bluebook thing, which I'll show later on this. I'll go through and put it on here. And I got an offer, and it gave me some different dealerships in my area and told me to take them there and let them assess it. So whatever that offer is, by the way, some of this video will be about that. It's supposed to all be about that, but now I got into talking about my mom, which I'm sorry for getting off track, but I have to back up again and say that you got to be ready for this stuff. So I had to get a power of attorney a durable power of attorney, because she's in hospice now, and actually hospice has been very helpful. The social worker told me that you need a durable power of attorney, because if your mom loses like her memory and stuff like that, like dementia type stuff and everything, like onset or just fast tracks because she has cancer, and if it does spread to her brain, then she could just forget everything, and then you're gonna not be able to take care of things possibly if you're not already on it. So yeah, she doesn't have a whole lot anyway, but she does have a vehicle, and she does have a credit card, and she does have a loan on that vehicle, and I'm already on the bank account. But I'm like, well, just because I'm on the bank account doesn't mean that I'm on that vehicle or the credit card, right? So I had to go with her to get a durable power of attorney, and to give myself, kind of be her attorney in a sense, to where whether she forgets things or not, at this point she needs my help, so I can take care of things that need to be taken care of. So one of the biggest worries was, like, if she can't get up and be immobile, how am I supposed to go and sell this car for her? So now, with the power of attorney, I could. So I put in the Kelly Bluebook thing. I got the offer. It's kind of crazy. So I got two places. I got a place in Winchester called Honey Car, and there was another place called Front Royal Ford. And I've heard of Front Royal Ford, and I've actually dealt with them before. I was going to sell my truck there one time, but it never happened. But I felt comfortable with them. They were calling me every time. I thought, it's a Ford dealership, it's not Joe Blow, whatever. Well, I'm not going to say that Honey Car, I'm not going to talk bad about them. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's a bad place, but I've never heard of Honey Car. I didn't know what they were, but it turns out that there was an old, like, I won't say old, but there was a Camping World in Winchester, Virginia. And I don't know what happened to it, but it left, but the building stayed, and somebody purchased it or leased it or whatever's happening. And now Honeywell is there. And I'm sorry, I said Honeywell. Let me rephrase that. Honey Cars or whatever. Honey Cars of Winchester. So when I press the button to get my 9-day or 10-day cash quote from with what I put in with the VIN number and everything for this vehicle, it came back and popped out a thing and told me that those were the two dealerships, to contact or whatever. So I clicked the one for Front Royal Ford, and I guess it must just go out to everybody, because as soon as I clicked that button, and I mean as soon as I clicked the button, I got a phone call, and it was a nice girl and everything, professional, and just said, hey, wanted to make an appointment that you're interested in selling this vehicle, and come down, and we'll take care of you and try to get you this quote, if not better, blah blah blah. And I was for sure it was the Front Royal Ford, because that's what I clicked on first, but it wasn't. It was the Honey Car place or whatever. So props to them. They were on it. And anyway, long story short, I made an appointment for Saturday at like 1:30 p.m. or whatever it was, doesn't really matter, and I made it up there, and I've kind of got some griping, just let know, but basically it's kind of funny. I'm not going to say anything bad, I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble, and I really am not trying to bash them at all. It's preference, right? This is my preference, and I'm allowed to speak what my preference is. So my preference was I'll go there first, because they called me first, and then also it's probably smart to go to one place and then go to the other place to see if you're going to get any more or less money or whatever, right? Get as much as you can get to get your loan paid off, and if there's anything extra, it'll, in this case, it'll help my mom if we need to hire somebody to come in and help her, because I don't know, you know what I mean? Because I've already 7 days a week doing some of the stuff that I'll talk about later, maybe in another video, because I don't want to just sit and talk about stuff like that. But it's hard to be a caregiver, and that's pretty much what I am now, full-time caregiver, which I'm happy again to be, because I'm her son and I love her and I want to do everything I can for her. I went to Honey Cars, and they looked my vehicle over. They came out, they looked everything over. They knew it was that the vehicle was the vehicle that I had parked there. They made sure that I had both the sets of keys, you know, they wanted to know certain things. They asked me if it had a loan on it and this and that. I told them. They wanted to know how much. I didn't want to tell them that right away. I mean, I want to get, you know, I want to know, like, am I going to get this offer? This video, by the way, is supposed to mainly be about the Kelly Bluebook offer deal. Like, is it legit? Like, when you get this Kelly Bluebook cash offer and it says this much, is it what it says it is? And I'll tell you, it wasn't bad. Like I'll just tell you right away, it wasn't a bad deal at all. I mean, it was not exactly what it said to be. And getting into that is just because the reason why they want you to bring it down there and appraise it is that if you answer wrong on the questions about, like, is your car immaculate? Does your car have any extra things, or is it standard? By the way, I clicked, it was just the standard vehicle. I didn't know if it had extra rims or, you know, special alloy or chrome rims or this or that. I mean, obviously I can see that, but I don't know if it comes with it or not, or if it was supposed to be whatever. So I just put standard. I figured that way I'll get, like, whatever I see. If I don't like it, or if it's not good enough to pay her loan off or do whatever, then I will just go and do my due diligence and see if it's got special rims or this or that, or a CD player, or, you know, all those things, that extras. So I did all that, took it there. They looked around, checked it out, came back. I won't say that, well, I'll just put it like this. So they basically said that the tires were not, they were past inspection, but they just weren't going to be to what they would want. So no matter what, they're going to replace these tires. That's $1,200. So they're going to subtract that off of the offer. Then there was like a ding or something, whatever. And I think the back wouldn't, I don't know. I'm not even going to get into all that right now. That's just because this is going to be a long, drawn out video, and I don't want to do that. But basically, I took it there. They gave me an offer. I told them thank you. I'm going to go to the Ford dealership now, Front Royal Ford, because I just want to see what they're going to offer me. Either way, I feel like I'd be dumb not to. And then, of course, you know what happens, and I expect it. I would want to do it if I was a business owner. I'm going to be like, you need to do what you can to keep that customer here, and if they want to sell this vehicle, let's try to get them what they want and they're happy with and get it sold, instead of them going down the road and buying a vehicle from someone else. Well, I wasn't going to do that. I mean, I've made mistakes in the past, but this isn't my vehicle, right? I feel like this is my mother's vehicle. I need to do right by my mom and get, like, you know, get this thing appraised and get, like, figure out if I'm getting lowballed or not, right? So they appraised it. They came back lower than what the offer was, which I don't know if I'll show all that or not, but basically the offer was a certain amount on Kelly Bluebook. They came back less by, you know, a few K or something or so, and because of the tires and because of this and that and whatever, and a little bit, maybe even more, but it was understandable, you know. And then they said, well, what can we do to get you to not go to the Ford dealership and just go ahead and take this car? And I was like, you know, I'd like to have what this thing says that I'm going to get, you know. And they said, well, can we give you an extra $500 and bring it up to, like, this more even amount, you know? Because I'll just tell you that what the amount was, it was like whatever and $500. And it was like, if we bring it, this extra $500, it'll just bring it to an even amount. And I'm like, yeah, sure. You know what? That now I know that you obviously got some playroom, because you just offered me this and that was it. Now you're asking me what I'll take before I leave. But okay, I wanted to kind of YouTube the building and stuff, which I did. I'll include in this here in a second. Okay, pop to that. okay, I'm back. But anyway, so it's a nice place. It's a nice place. I'm not unhappy with it. I'm not going to badmouth it. The only thing I will say is, after all was said and done, and they said that they would do this, and I kind of agreed, I knew that I was going to still leave and go to the Ford dealership to see what they were going to give me. But I just wanted to kind of look over the paperwork and see it when they printed it out for this story, to see, that everything looked legit and they didn't just change something and say So they brought me the paperwork. But anyway, so I signed that paperwork. Just a little bit of it, right? And then on the second page, it was this. I feel like I didn't see anything. I told them I was a YouTuber and that I had actually filmed some of the area of the cars and this and that. Is that okay that I filmed in your building? And they said yes, that's fine. They didn't care. So therefore, I guess I got permission, right? And then also in front of them, I took pictures of the paperwork because I wanted to kind of share some of it. I might, edit some of it out, but for the most part, I want everybody to see, the experience I'm going through. So here's the paperwork. Everybody signs paperwork, right? Well, there was this document in there, which I just showed you. Here, I'll show you again. All right, that document, I'm not comfortable signing that. That's saying that that I'm in debt for this amount of money for reasons that some of you may look at and say that I'm an idiot and that I should have just signed it. But in my mind, what do I have to lose? Because I'm leaving anyway. I'm going to go see if I'm going to get more money down the road, right? But again, I didn't feel comfortable about signing this document. So I was like, this basically states that I am going to be in debt to Honey Cars for this amount of money, and doesn't really explain a whole lot of the reason, from what I could see, which you pause it and look and see what you think about it. But it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, what I'm signing for this amount of money to be in debt to you. You're buying the car from my mom and me, right? I'm her power of attorney. You're buying this car like from me, and I'm going to take, and you're going to pay this loan off, and then I'm going to take that extra money and I'm going to put it in the bank account, right, for my mom, and if we need it, we need it. And then after, just whatever, right? It's like, that's what I would expect, that they're buying the vehicle for me, they're giving me money. Well, instead, now I'm in debt to them. Here's what they said. The reason for you to sign this document, and we're not saying that you would do this, but this has happened, is that, for an example, I guess, which I guess they said this happened, so maybe this did happen, I don't know. They said that they need to protect themselves because, like, if I had a spare key, even though I was giving them both keys, and I came back to their dealership, say tonight, and stole the vehicle,
got him
back after I guess sold it to them, then they would have some recourse of action, since they're paying off my loan, and since they are going to give me like half of that money now of the equity after the loan's paid off, and then they're going to give me the other half after they get the title from my bank, which, well, my mom's bank, but it happens to be my bank as well. So with that being said, I'm like, well, that's great. I understand you want to protect yourself, but I need to protect myself too. And I'm sitting here, and the female associate here that has helped me, she doesn't really even totally understand this document. Like, she understood enough to explain what it was supposed to be about, because somebody in the back room told her to tell me that, and I'm sure maybe it's all correct. But then I told her I wasn't comfortable signing it because it's just the way it's worded, which you saw. It says that I'm in debt this money until it's paid off, blah blah blah. It doesn't really say what it's for. It doesn't really say anything about what the guy told me about it's because if you come and steal the car back, this and that. It just says you're gonna owe this money, and I'm like, I can't sign that. I'm sorry. I've made a deal with you. I would like to continue with the deal and get this thing sold and put the money in my mom's account and be done with it. But I can't sign this because this is saying that basically my mom is going to be in debt for this much money, which is what you're supposed to be giving me that money or the bank, and it doesn't really say why or when it's going to be paid off or nothing. It just says I need to pay it off, and if I don't pay it off, being my mom, and since I'm her power of attorney and others, I think it meant like anybody that's involved, which would be me, that you could take my, I would basically owe this money, and it would, you could go to court, and you saw it, it's in there. I just didn't want to sign it. So basically, when it got to the point that he kept explaining over and over that what it was for, I'm like, listen, I know what it's for. I understand what you're saying. Excuse me. But with what you're saying, you shouldn't have to explain that to me. The document should be clear enough that I understand it and I can sign it and feel good about it. And then if I did have to go to court and hold up in court, then I could explain to the judge, and he would probably understand that, yeah, I mean, like, this makes sense what you're signing, but it doesn't make any sense if I signed it, It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just makes it look like I owe money. What if they said in court, what if it did go to court and they were to say, like, hey, we gave this guy a vehicle and he drove off in it and never paid for it, so we want to get this money or whatever. I guess what I'm saying is it didn't explain it didn't explain a whole lot, because you can see it. It doesn't say that it's for this VIN number vehicle, and it's for if he comes back and takes the car after we are paying off his loan or his mom's loan and this and that we need some legal recourse to come back on him. So my situation, I told the guy, was, look, man, I'm not going to sign this. I guess I'm going to have to leave and I'll go somewhere else. I plan to do anyway. But I can guarantee you this: if I do leave and I go to this other place and they offer me the same or more or even less, I guarantee that, like, I just don't think they're going to have me sign a form like that. Because I was thinking to myself, I don't think a Ford dealership would do that, or Chevy or something. I've bought plenty of cars. I've never had to do anything like that. So, all right, I ripped it all up. I actually have it here. I might tape it back together later, but I ripped up the contract right in front of them, and then, which is the first page I signed, and then I never did sign the other one, obviously. And I went ahead and just said, look, man, I'm not trying. I told you I was a YouTuber or whatever. I'm trying to do a story on this stuff, like, as far as, like, do you really get the money? So I have to say this, yeah, I made a deal with them. The Kelly Bluebook offer was not exactly what it said it was, but I understood and agreed that, yeah, it needs new tires, I guess. I mean, I bought it that way because I know my mom hasn't, we went and bought it together, and I know that she doesn't drive it, like, ever. So it hardly has any miles since the time she bought it. It hardly has been driven, but, benefit of the doubt, it sat out for the year or two that she had it out in the sun in some parking lot where she lived at her apartment complex. Maybe the tires dry out a little bit. I'd have to say that when I bought the car, it already was, like, probably borderline passing inspection, but, like, gonna need new tires sooner or later. So of course the dealership's not gonna sell it with those tires. They're gonna buy new tires for it. So I understand that. I can deal with that. But and like I said, then they offered me an extra $500 and got it up to an amount that still wasn't the amount the paper said, but it was enough. It actually, to be honest with you, I think it was more than what it was financed for. So it was gonna, but I'm still not making money because I think we put a few $1,000s down for a down payment. I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000, whatever, down payment. That's probably gone. But at least the amount that the loan is at that needs to be paid off will be paid off, and there'll be some equity to come back. So I'm not mad at I'm not mad about any of that. I'm not bashing them. I'm not saying anything. I'm just like, preference, I'm going to leave. I don't want to sign this paper. I'm going to Front Royal Ford to conduct some business there and see what they got to say. So anyway, I'm happy to announce to all of you that I did do that. And here's what that dealership looked like. All right. And I sat at this desk, looked around, at their stuff and everything. And anyway, so like now I'm sitting here at this desk. They went out and looked at this vehicle. And by the way, they said the same exact thing. So I don't feel bad about, like again, I'm not bashing Honey Cars at all. Okay. I don't want anybody, I'm not slandering them whatsoever. All I'm saying is this one document, preferably, I don't like it. I don't want to sign it. Share it with you to see what you think. But by any means, legally, am I trying to do something that's going to put me in a legal situation, or YouTube or anybody else, by posting this to say that their operation's wrong? Maybe it's probably very legal what they're doing. I'm just saying, preferably, I didn't like that, because to me, with what they explained to me, I'm in there to shake hands and do business, to sell my mom's car, which she's at home, basically dying of stage 4 cancer. And I am out there trying to get this done with this power of attorney, and just want to get in and out, just get this done. You know what I mean? It's not for me. And to run into that kind of problem, to be like, if you're a thief and you come back and you steal this car back, we need some recourse of action, so we assign this and that. Because in my mind, I'm like, look, call the police. Call the Winchester Police Department. Have them come arrest me if I'm doing, if I were to steal a car. And then I'll be prosecuted and I'll go to jail and I'll screw my whole life up, right? But I'm not a thief. So why would I sign this document in the first place? It doesn't make any sense to me. I know I keep going on about it, but it doesn't make any sense to me. And anyway, like I said, let the police and people like that handle criminals. If I were a criminal, let the police handle it. Don't try to give me some bogus document saying that I owe you, $1 zillion almost, and basically the whole amount of what you offered me. I owe you that now? No, come on. So anyway, I'm happy to announce that I did go to the Ford dealership. Everything did go good. And preference wise, I'm glad I went there. And it wasn't even much different whatsoever. They were very nice at the Honeywell place, or the Honey Car place. Very nice. I mean, and I told them I wasn't trying to be an ass. I did explain that I was a YouTuber and that I was making a video and everything about this. And was it okay, that I had footage of, their establishment or whatever. And like I said, the document's not top secret. Obviously they give it to everybody in there, so I don't think there's anything wrong with me showing it to you. So here it is again. But again, I didn't feel comfortable signing it. That's my preference. You, public wise, you go do any of that you want with them, and if you do sign it, that's great. Maybe I could have signed it and everything would have been fine, but I wasn't comfortable with it, is all I'm saying. So I went and did what I had to do, went to the other dealership. I was pissed when I left, I can't lie. I mean, I was driving from Winchester back towards home and called my fiance and was like, look, how's things going with mom? Because she's now watching my mom for me while I'm gone to do this. And I didn't want to leave her there on her weekend to do this because it's Saturday. And but she's great, she's great, and definitely probably better at taking care of her than me, because she actually is in the medical field. But with that being said, I said, do you care if I go to this Ford dealership in Front Royal? It's going to make me later. I'm going to be another hour or two late now, because I've already wasted, in my mind, 2 or 3 hours of my time because this deal didn't happen. So I went to Front Royal, found their dealership, went in, Um, very nice, just like the other place. It was all nice anyway. Basically, same exact offer. They told me that the car needed tires. It was going to cost like $1,200. They offered me the same exact amount minus the $500 extra because I wasn't leaving yet. So then, and I told them that I went to the other dealership, and I told them that if, and the guy asked me, well, when you went to this Honey Cars or whatever, do you mind me asking you what they offered you? No, you can ask me, but I'm not going to tell you right now. What I'll do is I'll tell you after we make the deal. I'll tell you exactly what happened, and I'll even tell you if I'm going to leave and go back there, because maybe I will, right? I might go back. It doesn't matter if I was upset or not. If it turns out that I'm going to lose a ton of money, I'll go back. Plus, it was to my best interest to tell them, look, I don't mind telling you a bunch of stuff after we shake and make a deal and get it going. I'll tell you everything. But until then, go find out what you're going to give me. So he came back, and again, it was the same exact thing. It was like, the tires, it's going to cost like $1,200 for that, so we're going to take that off, and we're going to have to do this and that. So here's our offer. It was exactly the same thing as the other place, except for the $500. So then I went ahead and proceeded to tell him the story of what happened over at the other place to a certain extent. Didn't disclose the fact about the document that I wanted to leave. I didn't want to get into all that. I just wanted to say I went there, got a price, came here. So I told him the truth. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. It was the same exact price that they offered me, except for when I told them I was going to come over here to your Ford dealership. They were like, what if we gave you an extra $500 and brought it up to this even amount or whatever? Okay, sure, right? So anyway, obviously that didn't happen. I tore everything up in front of them and left. But now this dealership, I'm telling them the truth. You know, yeah, they offered me the same thing, except for they were going to give me $500 more when I was leaving. So if you can match that, I guess I'll at this point I'll do it, because I'm tired. I want to go home. And whatever. Like I said, I was upset when I left the other place. I'm driving down the freeway thinking, oh man, I didn't get this taken care of. Now I'm going to have to come back on another day. You know, I'm already off work for FMLA, so I guess it can be done, but then I'm going to have like my fiance watch my mom. And does she really want to? I'm not going to say she doesn't want to watch my mom, but it's like she's got other things to do, right? And she works, so it's like I want her to be able to enjoy herself. So I was bummed, but I'm glad that I called her and she told me to go ahead and go. And turns out, thank you, Front Royal Ford, for buying my car. Like, you made it painless and everything else. I'll have to update later on how it goes, because I haven't gotten, the way it works there is that I signed all the paperwork. They're going to pay off the bank loan, and then any excess will go back and in the form of a check after they get the title, and then I'll come down and they'll either hand me the check or they'll mail it. And then, since I have power of attorney and I'm on my mom's account, I'll put that money in my mom's account, right? So that's what's going to happen. It could take 10 to 30 days or whatever. So I'll report back how everything went, but I'm assuming everything's going to go smoothly. They weren't going to cut me a check for half like the other place was. But in my mind, I'm like, it ain't exactly cutting me a check for half if you're going to put me in debt well, I don't want to say, I almost said it there. It's not going to matter if you give me a check and then you put me in debt for a large amount of money for the whole amount that you're going to give me, So anyway, the report is that this dealership didn't make me sign anything like that. I didn't have to sign any of that. They were happy that I had the power of attorney and I could conduct the business for my mom, and they were sorry that my mom, they both were sorry, that your mom's got cancer and everything, and I appreciate it, I didn't really want any sympathy, but I was fine with telling them the story, this is why I'm here. I've never done this before. I appreciate you, I need to put my trust into somebody to do this, because it has to get done, right? My mom doesn't want to keep paying on a car that she can't drive because she's in bed all the time, like at this point, and probably never going to need it again. And she doesn't want, the offer would be, I could have the car, like she'll give me the car, or whatever needs to be done with the car. But if you don't need the car, nobody needs it. There's no reason. It still has a loan on it, and that loan is a substantial amount of money that still has to be paid off. So unless somebody wants to pay this loan off, it's got to get paid off. So anyway, they paid it off, and it will get paid off anyway here in the next 10 days, I guess. And I shouldn't say I guess, it will. I was happy with everything. I told him I needed a ride home. Like, I live in Woodstock, Virginia. I'm not afraid to tell you that's where I live. I live in beautiful Woodstock, Virginia, and I need somebody to give me a ride home, because, like, I'm giving you this car. I can't call my fiance to do it because she's at home watching my mother, right? So anyway, I just want to report I didn't have to sign that document there, and it was still less than what it exactly said on the Kelly Bluebook thing as far as the cash offer. But then again, I said that everything was fine with my vehicle, because it looks fine to me, and everything, so I guess I feel like we walked away good, though. I feel like it was a good deal. So that's all I'm going to say. And again, I'm not bad mouthing the Honey cars. It was actually a nice facility. I'll have to say, it actually, to me, looked, the way that they did it and everything, because it's newer in the way they modeled it, I actually thought it looked a lot nicer than the Ford dealership. But then again, I trust, like, Ford and Chevy and all those places have been around a long time. I kind of feel like when you rent a house to somebody and you check their credit, and you want to make sure that they're legit before you rent it to somebody that's just going to tear your house up. Well, I don't know the Honey car place, so therefore I did have to feel more comfortable with Ford or Chevy or whatever. But what I will say is that this video isn't really about those dealerships. It's about, do you get your money that Kelly Bluebook tells you when you put that cash offer? And for the most part, I'd have to say yes. It seems that way. It pretty much was. I was able to get that taken care of. It wasn't exactly what it said, but I was happy with it. And that's that. So I'm gonna end this here and say thank you, everybody that helped me today, even the car dealership there, the Honey cars. Nothing against you guys. They were all very nice. Even the guy explaining everything to me, even though I didn't understand it and just didn't feel comfortable signing it. So again, many people probably buy cars there, and beautiful dealership. Inside looked nice, everything. But so again, I have nothing bad to say about it. I just didn't feel comfortable about that one document, and that one document lost them buying the vehicle from us to have on their lot. And I will say, it's an immaculate vehicle. I mean, when we bought this vehicle, it was in good shape, and my mom, being in her 74 years old, and having it for two years or whatever, 3 years, a couple years, I don't know, 2016 Hyundai Santa Fe, beautiful car. I'm getting kind of, should I even be making this video? I feel like I should. I want to share this with the public, I want you to know that I'm going to end it like this and just say that I want you to know that, like, if you have a parent that has cancer or this or that or whatever, in my case, cancer, move them in with you, let them live with you, and don't leave them alone, and do what you gotta do for them, because you can always find another job if you have to. You can always do other things, but when your parents gone, they're gone, right? So they brought you into this world, and they tried to teach you everything. Maybe they knew. They made their mistakes. They did their things right. They did their things wrong. They did this and that, whatever. But it doesn't matter to you, because all you know is it's your parent, and you should love your parents, right? Unless they've done you wrong, which I can't say mine have. You should love your parents. So I guess what I'm saying here is just make sure you take care of your parents, and make sure that when you have a parent that is going through what my mom is going through, and you move them in with you or whatever, that you think about everything ahead of time and get it done, because I'm slow, man. I'm slow on things, but getting this done for the power of attorney, I waited till like the last minute, and if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have sold that car today for her, and just, I don't know, lots of things. So just make sure you do what you need to do. And Kelly Bluebook, I'm not being sponsored by anybody by any means, so like, I'm just saying the Kelly Bluebook thing, it worked for me. I got a quote. It gave me an idea of what my car was worth. I didn't want to, with a pretty substantial car loan, I didn't want to like just sell to Joe Blow or somebody, because I don't know, it just seemed like it'd be a pain. Let's just go somewhere professional and let it get done. I took it to 2 professional places today. They were both very nice. It just came down to a document. I didn't like the one document. So, if you guys are watching this or whatever from this car dealership, I was told it was owned by Stevens car dealerships. Like, I guess there's a Stevens Toyota, there's a Stevens this and that, whatever. I don't even know if they're from Winchester or if they're from Harrisonburg. But I was in Winchester at this dealership, and they said they were owned by Stevens. So I don't know. I think they might have said they were from Harrisonburg. But the point is, it was a legal document. I'm sure it was right or wrong or whatever. I don't know. Actually, I shouldn't say I'm sure it was right. I just didn't like the way it was worded, and it was uncomfortable. And I went to another dealership. And that Ford dealership, we pretty much struck the same exact deal. They gave me a ride home. I just got home a little while ago. Told my mom what happened. Told my fiance what happened. They thought it was pretty funny, Oh, you ripped up the contract? Yes, I ripped up the contract. Because this isn't a child channel by any means. I put on there on YouTube that it's not. So I was like, you're out of your fucking mind if you think I'm gonna sign this, And I'm not trying to be loud, and I'm not trying to be whatever. I'm sorry, whatever, but no, I can't sign this. And talking to the person that was helping me and talking to the other person that was helping me, it came to explain it. I'm like, look, man, I don't know if you guys would sign this. And maybe I'm an idiot. And, the only thing I can think of is I'll take this to like my attorney, and if they tell me to go ahead and sign it, then I'll come back and I'll sign it, and I'll tell you I'm sorry, because like I'm an idiot. I guess I don't know how to read. But you guys can make of what you think about it. But I'm glad that I did what I did. And honestly, at the end of the day, I made it back closer to home by going to front row in a sense, and got it all done. So anyway, if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and help me grow it, because I'm trying to grow a YouTube channel, and I can only say I'll do the same, for you. If you ever like send me a message or something saying, hey, I subscribe to you, help me out, I'll help you out, because I'm all about the algorithm and all that stuff, right? I'm trying to learn. I want to figure out. I'm filming this on my Android Samsung 20 Galaxy 21 or whatever. I should know that. I'm a phone guy, but worked for Sprint for a number of years and stuff. But anyway, I'm learning. I'm learning how to use a DaVinci editor, DaVinci Resolve. It's a free editor. You can pay a one-time fee of like $300 or whatever it is. I don't know, $299 something if you want the pro version, but I don't need that right now. I've been watching YouTube videos, and they're saying to go with this one. It's free. My buddy and I are both starting YouTube channels. We do a lot of gaming, so we're going to be doing some of the gaming. We're going to be doing this and that, blah blah blah. Sometimes I mean, like, tell you stuff, like I make funny characters and stuff, man. Yeah, I like it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes fun, Sometimes you just gotta be funny, and you just gotta do stuff sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, though, I like to do voices and stuff sometimes. I probably suck at it, but like,
I think the teachers can tell you some stuff about the funny things that happen in your life. And sometimes you just gotta tell people what they they need to know.
But anyway, little taste of some of the stupid shit I do. But I'm zoning out here. Please subscribe and like and ring the bell. And till next time, I'm out. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Got him.